purpose of this video is to define what is authentic dialogue and how can you use it to become a better interviewer. Instead of just giving you a dry definition, I want to tell you a true story about my cousin Jimmy. Jimmy had a job interview, was one of 3 finalists and didn't get the job. So of course at the next family gathering, Jimmy came to me and said, "Bill, you're the expert of interviewing. Let me tell you what happened and why didn't I get the job." Jimmy proceeded to tell me that he interviewed with a large company. There were several different buildings. He told me about how the interview went, the questions that were asked, and answers, and everything kind of sounded by the book. Kind of the way everybody was trained, and he gave very good, well-rehearsed answers, and there wasn't anything real obvious. So I asked Jimmy, did anything else happen? Was there any casual conversation during the interview? And the reason I asked that is Jimmy's noted as being quite opinionated. He can be a complainer, and I'm just curious if he put his foot in his mouth somewhere. So Jimmy said, well, not really. There was a little bit in between the interview, and I didn't think it was much significant. Now, because I know Jimmy's a complainer, I said, Jimmy, what do you mean by it wasn't significant? What kind of conversations happened in between people you interviewed with? He says, well, after my first interview, she took me between buildings, took me for a walk to get to the next person I was going to interview, and that was about a 5-minute conversation we had. And she said she was interested in being an adjunct at the college I went to, so she was asking me my opinion about the program. And so I just told her about it. Now again, because I know Jimmy, I said, Jimmy, what do you mean you told her about it? What did you say? Well, Bill, she asked me, did I like the instructors? And I told her some of them were very good and some I didn't like that much. I don't think some were really good teachers, even though they knew their stuff. And quite frankly, I did complain to the department chair, and I was a little disappointed the department chair didn't give a response, so I told her, she needs to be careful which program she goes into, and she needs to do her homework. And I said, Jimmy, I think you lost the job during that interview between buildings. And he says, well, what do you mean? That wasn't even part of the interview. Of course, I'm smiling now because that was part of the interview. That candid, genuine, authentic conversation between buildings is what got Jimmy in trouble. I said, Jimmy, you sounded like somebody who was complaining. You didn't know how to resolve your conflicts. You may have a short temper. And he says, I don't think it was that bad, but I still don't get it because that wasn't part of the interview. And that really is the definition of an authentic dialogue. When no one was watching, when the interviewer did not ask a rehearsed question that was on her list, and Jimmy didn't give a rehearsed answer that he practiced the night before. It was a genuine conversation when Jimmy really shared who he is, what his attributes are, and what his character is like. And when you can do that in an interview, you are going to learn much more about your candidate. When you can create an authentic dialogue where it's not a rehearsed question and it's not a rehearsed answer, you are going to get more honesty, more openness, and you are going to get the kind of information you need to make a good hiring decision. Now, I encourage you to watch a couple of the other interviews because I'm going to show you exactly how to create an authentic dialogue in your next interview.